We are recording and streaming on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024 at 11:11 a.m. Eastern. I should have done this yesterday. Yesterday was 11:11, so 11:11 a.m. Eastern time, completely not related to anything we're talking about. But yeah, World War One ended 106 years ago yesterday. I don't know why I was thinking about that last night. It has literally nothing to do with today's show. Mr. Dillon is you founded Air Water Healing. Can you please describe what that is and introduce yourself while I post a live link?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started Air Water Healing to be a resource where people could go and get not only healthy products, but to have a one-stop shop for anything for somebody who wants to be able to take control of every aspect of their health. So we have cutting edge air purification, water purification, supplements, heart health products, and anybody who wants to do a general detox or just regain control of their overall health. We wanted to not only have a mission where we were supporting people's health, but we wanted to also funnel some of the profits going into the Self Wellness Center that we opened up in Boynton Beach Boulevard, where we're using all natural modalities. So, sound, energy, light, and frequency work, and helping people really just fine tune their own body and embodying what Christ really allowed us to be able to have. We believe that God doesn't make mistakes, and He gave us everything that we need to be able to heal our own bodies. I think that over the course of years and years, people have gotten further and further away from listening to the Word of God. And when Jesus had said to His disciples, He said, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, all of the works that I've done, you can do and greater, because I'm going to be with my Father." So we knew that we had this power to be able to heal not only other people, but to be able to heal ourselves. So we wanted to create a website that brings honor not only to God and His Word, but to be able to bring in incredible supplements that people could put into their homes, especially our air purifier. It's one of our favorite products.
Well, you just read your mind. I was just read my mind. I was about to ask about because I'm in Portland, Maine, and especially as it gets colder, it's just in general there's a feeling of like insane crispness in the air. Like, I mean, almost brutally, it's almost painful. It's like too cold sometimes, but I love it because starting around late September, October until about April, I no longer have to pay for my air conditioner. I just crack the windows and it's incredible. Now I'm right on the ocean. I'm in a city, but I'm right on the ocean. So I don't know how pure or not it is. I feel like that's probably a battle, like the purity of ocean air versus, in general, a higher density than normal, just in a city of cars. Um, but then, when I go up to like my parents' place, they live out in the middle of nowhere in the woods surrounded by, I mean, truly just trees to the horizon in every direction, it is definitely more notable that it's different. And I think that difference is probably, I don't perceive it as much. I perceive it as different. What I imagine would be quantifiably, if you measure like the parts per million, would be just less toxins, less shit in it. How can the average person kind of find that? If everybody listening, these aren't like pre-prepped questions talking about. I'm legitimately curious because it's some days there's beautiful here, other days it's just like monstrous. How does the average person even know what to do?
So, one of the first things I like to educate people on is this wasn't your fault, right? It's not your fault, the air quality issues that you have. So, let's just first take into consideration where you're at. Who installed the hardwood or the vinyl flooring? What kind of paint was used on the walls that are behind you? Here in Florida, we had the it was literally called the Chinese drywall epidemic, where there was a bunch of defective drywall and it had made hundreds of thousands of people all the way from Tampa all the way to the East Coast absolutely sick. And you're not talking about like asbestos, you're talking about like synthetic fibrous material that had been leaching into the air. And there's a really good book that's out there, and it's called Sick Building Syndrome. So, Chris, you of all people can do everything you want right by opening up the windows, maybe putting in a UV light inside of your air conditioner, but you have to get to the root cause of what's causing the issues inside of your home, right? So mold is a silent killer, and Dr. Gary Rosen, one of the leading microbiologists in the United States, he's actually tested our air purifier, which is the V3 that you can find on the homepage. And what that machine specifically does is it goes out and it's proactively removing pathogens, viruses, and specifically breaking down mold. So you may not have mold inside of your house, but a really good way to know if there's an issue inside of your home is one of the most telling is you go away and your symptoms get better. So like if you have allergies and you're coughing and sneezing, or you maybe don't even hint the mustiness or let's say like a mold that could be inside of your home. But then you go on vacation and let's say that you're in New York City visiting your family for the weekend and you're like, man, my allergies and that headache and that fog that I have is just completely gone away. Unless the place that you were staying at is also infested with mold, usually there's a problem. Usually there's a problem at the house. And as much as I would love to say that, 200 years ago, when we were all living, either outdoors or we were living in much different environments than we do today, where you had dirt floors and nobody had air conditioning. A lot of times, the air conditioning or the furnace themselves, if they have mold or certain types of inorganic materials inside of them, there's no filter in the world that's going to help you breathe better because of the fact that the fan inside of those purification technologies that are using filters, they're not powerful enough to suck in the pollution. So, to answer your question, I think most people really want to be able to look inside of the house and say what in here could quite possibly be contributing to the air pollution, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my last apartment, I was in Maryland. From like the day I moved in to maybe 3 days after I moved out, like 18 months, just splitting headache every day. Like, and I mean, it's really nothing to do. It's I moved in, open the windows, try to clean everything, but it's just terrible headache, and then moved out, and it all went away. So, I mean, I suppose that is, and just again, kind of off the top of my head, because I'm I've been working out for like 21 years or so, very militant about getting enough sleep, meditating, eating as healthy as I can, vitamin supplements. I think I drink more water than anyone I've ever met in my life. My mom said ever since I could like hold a cup, I mean, doing this one podcast, one, two, this is all just like next to me right here, and I'll go through all of these and then some today. Um, my like one vice, I guess, is tap water. I just, everyone, it's bad for you, it's fluoride, and I think I just drink so much water that I know like deep down I know it's bad, and I don't know why I haven't done something about it. But I mean,
I
I
can
take
tell
care
you,
of everything else in my life. That's my vice is tap water. I just fuck it, just fill it up.
I think that sometimes, people put things off, especially, if you talk about something that you need to do, that means you're not doing it. So
Yeah.
let's get you off of the tap water because that is probably doing more harm to your body if you're eating organic and working out. There's so much stuff inside of the tap water, and I'm glad that people like RFK, are now coming out and bringing to light. I mean, we've been talking
Yeah.
about fluoride for 20 years and it needing to be removed from the water. And again, I think that, if you and I went back and you look at the research, from the Bible times all the way into the early 1200s, and you get into the Alexander the Great, when you look at all these paintings, there wasn't pictures of people's teeth just falling out. You didn't just see a bunch of people with their gums all exposed. So, the argument of the people who are for fluoride are like, well, without it, all of your teeth are going to fall out. I'm like, well, we didn't introduce it into the water supply, until like, 50, 60 years ago. Why was there generations and generations and generations of people that didn't have their teeth falling out?
It's a fair point. Yeah, that is a fair because I always, and I guess this is just my own, I suppose, brainwashing or conditioning. I've always just thought like it's very odd when you'd see, I don't know, some movie about ancient Rome or something, and it's just some like stud like Brad Pitt or something, but then they always have perfect teeth. And I always, ever since I was little, I was like, wouldn't those just be completely like a cross between like, like a British meme and like a, I don't know, like a werewolf? Like, wouldn't, but I guess that's a good point is, yeah, it's not like there's no hieroglyphics of like just destroyed teeth or something. Right. And that would be back in the day. I mean, I don't think they'd hesitate for a second to like, I don't know, take some slave and like cut their jaw out and give it to the pharaoh. Like I think they do that now. But there is not that's a fair point, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is
Well, and
so
and another point to take into consideration is that your body, some people will argue 60%, 70%, 90%, 80% water, right? So if our body is comprised of more water than any other element,
mhm,
should be drinking really, really good, high quality water. And I think another one of the really important things to consider is when you consider like things like microplastics, right? Microplastics are now being found in every part of the body. For men, they're finding it in the testicles. For
mhm,
women, finding it in their breast. We're finding it in the myocardial lining of the heart. There is so much problem with the plastics that have now leached into our society. And forget talking about the ocean and what that damage is doing. We're focusing like right now on our body, right? Because we want to become an embodiment of absolute wellness. I don't know if you have the ability to share your screen and pull up on the website, but one of the most simple solutions that I tell most people is if you go to airwaterhealing.com and you go to our water section, we have a tankless RO, which is to me, besides distilled water, RO is the cleanest water you can get, and it is so affordable and it's so easy to install. So we've got a slim line, um, four-stage RO filter that can go right underneath the sink, and you literally will never have to get bottled water ever again. So if you're drinking the tap water, just literally go to your tap and do the RO. Take a pinch of sea salt, or to get a little bit of the minerals, because I know a lot of people will call RO dead water. Well, I can tell you right now, if you're relying on your water for the minerals that your body needs to consume, you're already doing it wrong. So the simple solution would definitely be doing the RO. Very easy water filtration system. It's something that's super simple. Later in the show, I would love to get into the atmospheric water generator. I know that that's probably something that's going to be very new to your audience, but it is something that we're very, very passionate about. But getting back to the air quality, one of the things that you were asking about is like, how do people know? Um, we have developed a whole array of solutions for people, whether you're a commuter or whether you're just staying at the home. So, like, let's say that your apartment or house that you're in right now, you don't really have a lot of issues there. But maybe let's say that your issues are when you go into the city or when you're in your car and you're traveling. So we've thought about developing the technologies. Like one of my favorite products that we developed is the Triad Air Go. So this is simply a 250 square foot room unit that can be plugged into the car. It's battery operated, so you could take it with you on the go. You could literally put it in the car or bring it to your office, create about a 200 to 250 square foot of protection in any room that you put it in. But because of the high negative ion output, this is doing 12 million negative ions per cubic centimeter per second. And what that means is without a filter, we're able to drop everything down to the ground as a biologically inert substance, meaning you don't have to ever replace a filter. We're just removing it from your breathable airspace by releasing millions of negative ions, which will attach to anything with a positive charge. So when you open up your windows and you've got a beautiful blue, clear day, and then seven jets go by and they have one of those trails that just never disappear, you're starting to breathe in heavy metals, barium, strontium. You're getting microtoxins and mycotoxins from the mold and things that are inside of the house. We're actually removing that by dropping it down to the ground as a biologically inert substance. So when people find out with our products, you don't have to change filters. That's a big seller.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I actually live like I don't even know 2, 3 miles from the airport. Um, that's what is the atmosphere? Well, I have no, and you said to pull up the website's in the description for everybody listening. You can go in and find it. And I gave you screen sharing if you want to share. What did you just atmospheric what generator?
So we have a product called Atmos, ATMOS. It's an atmospheric water generator. Okay. So we took the simple idea of having a air filter system that could remove not only dirty air and odors from the home. So typically our customers are going to put this in the kitchen. And what we're doing is we're actually pulling dirty air in and we're running it over a condensed coil that pulls moisture out of the air. So it will go into a holding tank. The holding tank has a UV light underneath it, and then it goes through a three-stage filter. And then it hits UV at the point of contact when it dispenses. So we're actually pulling humidity out of the air and turning it into water. So the very air that you're breathing, as long as you're around between 40 to 90% humidity, we can do anywhere from a gallon to almost 3 gallons of water a day. Literally, if the water line ever gets a boil water notice or if they just cut your water off, you're able to generate your own water. So this is like a prepper's dream. If they've got solar panels or backups, we could take clean water with us anywhere that we go and forget fluorides and microplastics and birth control and pharmaceuticals that are very hard to get rid of in the water treatment facility. We're able to give you clean drinking water and it's on demand. So it's beautiful. If you go to airwaterhealing.com on the homepage, scroll about halfway down, there's a section there called atmospheric water generators. And it is one of the first devices that was ever created that could go on the tabletop. So you put it in your kitchen, you could put it in the living room, set it on the ground, and it produces clean drinking water on demand from the air that you're breathing.
I mean, if you guys send me stuff, I will 1,000% shamelessly shill it. I will put one of those little things right here on the. I'll put it right here. I'll give you product placement on the screen. I'll try it. I mean, what do I have nothing to lose. What do I care? I'll absolutely do that. Um, to just kind of go back to the fluoride thing. How much? And not that you would know or I would know, but it is like a fun conspiracy, and I love conspiracy. I don't say conspiracy. A lot of people say conspiracy in a derogatory way. I conspiracy theory is just the history of mankind. It's people conspiring together to exert their own influence and get a disproportional benefit from it. That is truly the history of man. Um, how much is it? How much is there to? I mean, is it just remove fluoride and there's health benefits? How much of it do you think there is like a psychological, like it affects your ability to think or your ability to reason or whatever it is? There any evidence to that? Is that purposely, and again, not that you have the answer, but is that purposely placed, misinformation to make people look stupid? Is it, it's like Area 51, it's Bob Lazar worked there, and he said, I don't even know if it's true. Do they just tell you it's aliens so that they can track leaks? So if somebody leaks it and says there's technologies from these aliens from this star system, it's this employee and then you can kill them. Is there any evidence to that, or do you not even need like a grandiose, like to quote Tim Dillon, he was like, you don't need the elite to be like cannibal reptiles. It's bad enough that they just start wars for money. He's like, how crazy do you need it? Like it's already bad enough. Do you even need a greater reason to remove fluoride, or is it just are there just health issues?
Well, I mean, it all comes down to how far are you willing to go down, a rabbit hole.
I go down all of
I've
them to the
I've
bottom.
always looked I've always looked at a conspiracy theory when they call somebody a conspiracy theorist. Usually, I'd say 70 to 90% of the time it's a whistleblower that's trying to expose something and then it's such an overused term to call somebody a conspiracy theorist. Like, okay, so here's an example. This can't
Like
be debated, right? This can't be debated. A year before 9/11, Alex Jones had called out and said that if there ever is an attack on the United States and they use airplanes, he's like, they're going to hit the World Trade Center and they're going to use a known CIA operative, Osama bin Laden. They're going to pin it on him, right?
Project for a New American Century, PNAT came out a year prior. And then the morning of 9/11, they're doing Operation Vigilant Guardian, where they do a drill of civilian planes getting hijacked, which is why if you look at the NORAD transcripts, you have a bunch of fighter jet pilots saying, "Is this real? Is this real world or simulation?" The year prior, Project New American Century, written by all the neocons that came into office, saying, absent a new Pearl Harbor, absent a cataclysmic event in Manhattan, the United States will not be able to do what it wants to do in the world.
Right. 100%. And again, so conspiracy theorist, who is it? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of people in Bible in the biblical, time. I guarantee you Noah, right? Noah was probably one of the greatest conspiracy theorists of all time until it started to rain.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So once it
yeah.
started to rain, people were like, "Hey, dude, this guy." And again, we don't know. God might have opened up the way that the heavens opened up. It might have been that no one even knew it was raining. It might have just so much water had fallen that all life that wasn't inside of that ark ceased to exist. I mean, there's really no way to tell. So I think that the bigger question is could this be a spiritual battle, right?
Well,
It,
a
is
hundred
there
thousand
is
percent.
there is there a reason why they would take a neurotoxin, a known waste product, and put it into the water supply and allow us to drink it, and knowing that, you know, if you look at some of the greatest people that are out there in this movement, Dr. David Martin for one, right? He says that he believes that we've got closer to 11 senses, not five. And there's people that say that there's even up to 33 senses that we have. So if we're being poisoned, and if you look at, the some of the glands that we have, specifically the pineal gland, right, inside of, right, in between your forehead, in the middle of your brain, when that thing gets calcified, people stop dreaming, and you stop having, the connections the way that you can. And if you go through a time where you remove the fluoride from your life and you only drink atmospheric water and you're watching what you're eating, it's incredible the amount of dreams that will happen and how vivid you can dream. And I think that if you're able to disconnect people from the creator, what better way would there be than actually doing what I just mentioned, being able to put a calcification over something that's so beautiful, right?
It also makes sense. I mean, just look at it like a military operation, the big C3, command, control, and communication. Well, it's
Hmm.
just for shits and giggles, say it is a spiritual war. You would want to jam the radio, every war movie, get them on the radio. It's broken, sir, right? And then it's all hell breaks. It's like Iwo Jima, like there's a bullet hole in the radio, and it's like we'll do it ourselves. That's always the problem, right? Communications are down, Mr. President. If you were I don't know, demonic force, or for people that don't want to entertain that, let's just say whatever, an off-world civilization. I mean, the same way that, the US and China, two first world nations, meddle in third world nations, giving them technology and aid that they can't comprehend in order to fight out for the gain of the advanced nations. You can then extrapolate one time further and go, well, maybe there's a good intergalactic civilization and a bad intergalactic civilization. Maybe something like Area 51 is them, like no, like us giving weapons to Ukraine or Israel. Maybe that's them going, hey, America, here's a flying saucer. Maybe at the demonic side or the bad side, if you don't want to call it spiritual, you could just say, well, they'd map out the battlefield and go, well, we can't stop them because they have free will, but what if we destroyed their radio connection? I don't know. That's what I would do. If I wanted to, Far Cry 5, Ghost Recon, all the games when you go down to take like a bad guy outpost, first thing you always do is you shoot the power. You destroy the generator so they can't call backups and they can go in and just murk them all. That's exactly what you would do. Just as a as an approach, that's what you would do. If you knew there was something deep in the brain that was a form of connection with the divine, that's the first thing you would do is destroy that. Why wouldn't you?
Well, and I mean, let me ask you this: if you go get, I don't know, 95% of every toothpaste that's on the market that contains fluoride, what does it tell you to do if you swallow it, or if your child accidentally swallows it?
Call poison control.
Okay, so
It's a good point.
I don't care how little amount. I mean, it's just like it's
You
it's
swallow any of this, call poison control. Anyway,
So,
go
but
fill up your cup.
let's take something and let's put massive amounts of it in the water and tell people, oh, but it's way less than what's in your toothpaste, so it's absolutely
That's a fair point. Yeah,
uh,
call poison control as I'm just ingesting gallons of this a day.
yeah.
No,
Well, we're gonna get you drinking some pretty clean water. So,
I'm
uh,
1,000% on board for it. I have no qualms.
I want to circle back to
Yeah.
the one of the things about air that most people don't realize is, you know, when do you you know wish that you had really good insurance, right? After a crash or before a crash, okay? So when it comes to our health, right? I say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of the cure. So if we're breathing in 11,000 liters of air a day, right? 50% of all illnesses worldwide are directly linked to or caused by polluted indoor air. If we only slept in our house for 8 hours and then we went to work and we were out in Mother Nature, that means a third of your life is spent indoors. I believe it's closer to 80%. 80% of your life is spent indoors, especially when you get into the retirement age. You're spending all of this time inside of your house. You should be breathing the crispest, coolest, cleanest air that you possibly can. So that way you're giving your immune system a chance to reset, right? When you look at what our products can do in the form of lysis, right? Lysis is the disintegration of cell walls of
Mhm.
viruses. So when you go on our website and you look at the studies of breaking down H1N1, H5N8, when you're looking at bird flu, you're looking at COVID, all of the things that photocatalytic oxidation can break down with our big machine, the Triad Air V3. On the homepage from airwaterhealing.com, there's even a little demo that people can watch. Enlighten yourselves, take the 3 4 minutes and watch the demo and see what this technology can do to be able to change not only your health but change your entire life. We millions and millions of people have made the switch to using our technology because it works, right? So I always tell people, if you want to look at something how it was designed, you either have to look at the science behind it or you have to look at the background of the engineers, right? That's what it took. Alan Johnston, our chief technology officer, he worked for Raytheon Missile Defense, literally
That's
helped write the guidance codes for the ICBs for intercontinental ballistic missile strikes. If crazy Kim wanted to press his finger on a button, we literally have things that are floating around in the atmosphere that can intercept missiles, long range missiles. And after that, he went to run 225 engineers that he oversaw on Hughes aircraft. So you're talking about somebody with a military background
that's legit.
that developed
Raytheon
this.
guidance. Yeah, it's sorry. Yeah, that's legit.
So this guy, his life was dedicated to helping people breathe crisp, cool, better, clean air. And the guy knew that if you got in your car in San Bernardino, which is now for the first time in a long time a red county, and you were to drive from San Bernardino County, California to Bangor, Maine, do you know how many HEPA filters you would see in Mother Nature? Zero. They don't exist. God doesn't make mistakes. So what we did was we took what happens in a thunderstorm, right? So you instinctively, your body knows what to do. You go outside after a thunderstorm. When lightning strikes, it creates ozone and it creates negative ions. You go outside after a thunderstorm, that fresh, crisp air, the first thing you do is you go, oh my gosh, you get tingles all the way down into
Yeah,
your
it's
belly and your neck hairs start
fantastic.
to raise. You're like, this is the cleanest air I've ever breathed in my entire life. So we took the same technology and said, we've literally trapped ourselves in with we've sealed ourselves in with deadly toxic precision. And for people who live up north, when it gets so cold outside, most of them are spending 4 to 5 months with the same recirculated air. Our technology is proactive. It goes through every single square inch of the home, going through walls, doors, floors, carpets, padding, draperies, going into every single room of the house, upstairs, downstairs, the same exact way where I can almost see into your kitchen right now, right? If you were in your bedroom with the door closed and I was over at your house as a guest and I burnt 3 or 4 pieces of bacon and I let it go beyond the crispy of crispiness, within 5 minutes, every room in your house would know that we've cooked bacon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So a HEPA filter in your kitchen is never going to get rid of the smell of bacon or a pathogen in your bedroom because as soon as the door is closed, that purification system that's sold by the mainstream big box stores, It's relying on a filter. And, I don't like using the F word, but filters don't work because they can only pull in the dust, pollen, and dander that the fan can get. And
Yeah.
all testing was done in a laboratory where they're like, oh, it collects 99.9999% of pathogens that are zero point zero 0.02 microns or larger. Well, if you consider, and just to give you a visualization, right? If a HEPA filter getting a zero point zero 0.02 parts per million is like the size of the bottom of my purifier,
Mm.
this little screw right here, right? The diameter of this would be 0.001 microns. So if you're talking about what we're able to remove versus what they're able to remove, we're hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times smaller than what a HEPA filter is able to do. So photocatalytic oxidation is breaking down anything 0.001 microns or larger. It's breaking it down into a biologically inert substance. So the air that you're breathing is truly healthy. It's what the body was meant to breathe.
Mm. I mean, you're selling me. I mean, yeah, I always try to crack my even if it's freezing in here, I still first thing I do is every morning I always crack even just I open the windows and just go to the gym for like 30 minutes because I do feel like the staleness. Not so, but I mean that's just, and that's without, you know, clean air. And then what's not only post thunderstorm, but there's the pre-thunderstorm. Is that the air or is that more of the pressure? You know, when you go out and you can feel that a storm's coming. What is
Yeah.
that? Is that
There's
pressure?
always a shift. There's a shift in barometric pressure. Absolutely. And again, 100, maybe 200 years ago, your solution would have been fine. But when you open up that window, what are you now allowing to come into the
Yeah,
house?
that's I
You've got,
mean, yeah, I'm
you've
in
got diesel
downtown.
exhaust fluid. You've got
Yeah.
ships coming in, containers coming in. You're near the airport. You've got airport
Airport's right
traffic,
over there, yeah. And
and
there's
and
the dock is maybe a quarter mile where cruise ships come in.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch 22. It's like the fresh New England air asterisk cruise ships, 747s, and a bunch of cars.
It's like the mosquito control, right? You've got the city going up and down, and they're spraying all those pesticides, and it's like so now
Yeah,
you're bringing that into the house, and
it's a fair
so
point.
the solutions that we created were meant for everybody. It's just a way to become, you know, I, I just wish that everybody would become their own doctor, right? How do you nobody knows your body better than you. What can you do? What can you do for the indoor home that's your safe haven, right? It is your sanctuary. So you have to honor your body by putting things around you that are going to help you be better, healthier, sleep better, and again, we've only just barely dived into the importance of the air quality. There's so much more that you could be doing to get your body prepared for inevitably the war because it's a never-ending cycle, where you walk into a grocery store and you've got one aisle, maybe a quarter of the aisle, they have a health food section, right?
Mhm.
What is the rest of the store?
Yeah,
If there's one little section that's the health food section, what is the rest?
yeah, yeah, by definition, yeah. That's a fair point.
So, we encourage everybody, and air water healing has just been it's just been the tip of the iceberg of the source. At the very bottom of our air water healing website, we actually offer a course through a company called Global Healing, where everybody can become a certified health coach. I implore everybody. We don't receive any money for that. We just send everybody to the Global Healing Institute. Also working with Dr. Ely with the Energetic Healing Institute. I encourage everybody. Knowledge is absolute power. And the more that you learn, the more that you can share. Um, that's another thing. I encourage everybody, even if you just take a course or two, you don't have to become a certified health coach, but you can go take a couple of his courses. I believe some of the courses that Dr. Group offers are absolutely free. And it's just a wealth of knowledge where you can go in and learn about the power of intermittent fasting, right?
Mhm.
Our great 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 grandfather was a hunter gatherer. We would You know when we would eat? We would eat when he caught a deer, or
Yeah.
when he went out and shot a boar, or
Yeah.
caught some rabbits. Our body, I do not believe, and I think more and more people are becoming alert and awake. We don't need to eat 3 meals a day. I know
Yeah.
people eat one meal every other day.
I eat one meal in like a 3 hour time frame every day. Yeah.
So you intermittent fast unless you're
Yeah.
snacking or have a healthy, outing or something like that.
No, I eat once a day. Um, yeah, I mean, I do try to do most things. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm very, very strict about getting enough sleep, exercise, cardio, weights, meditation, reading, social contact, go outside, get some sun, and, multivitamin, fish oil, CoQ10, couple brain health things. Um, not eat to excess, although that's one thing I always got to work on. But yeah, I mean, I guess it does track that, everything I do is I try to be I'm trying to, live. I don't want to just live a long life. I want it to be a quality life. I don't want to be, I don't want to be in an old home by 70 and spend 20 years rotting. And that seems horrible to me. Um, and even like, the primary reason I lift weights and stuff is mental health. Sure, you can get buff, but I do it primarily to keep anxiety and depression at bay. So like I guess it does track that in most of the things I do proactive or preemptive care. I guess a glaring hole would be air and the 100 trillion gallons of city water I drink. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm open to try it. I'm down to try it. I'll absolutely shill it on here. If you send me something, I'll try it. Um,
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna one of the first things I'm gonna send you, knowing how much water you drink, is and I don't know how much of your audience has ever heard about this, but on air water healing under our health section, one of my favorite products, and I will tell you, my fiance will attest to this. It's literally a game. It's a game changer. Have you ever heard of Cardio Miracle?
no,
Okay. So Cardio Miracle is my favorite heart health supplement in the entire world. It's got over 21 whole fruit root extracts from turmeric to carrot. It's got zero sugars inside of it. I think they use an organic monk fruit as the sweetener, but it literally has from vitamin A to vitamin Z and everything in between. But it's got three different delivery methods of nitric oxide. So what this will do, it will literally um, reverse the age of the heart. And I can tell you personally, I've seen my own mother get off of 3 or 4 of her heart medications, and I've had people that take this and they say it is the absolute best thing for a low calorie, low glycemic, diabetic friendly, and insulin receptive formula. You take one of those little packs in there, mix it up with 8 ounces of water, and I'm telling you, brother, for sexual stamina, for pain management, it is absolutely a 100% game changer as a daily regimen. I highly recommend when we get done with this, I'll get your address. I'll send you a pack of this to try. That is something that you want to make sure you're letting everybody know. Go to airwaterhealing.com and get your Cardio Miracle. It is my favorite. You could literally go I hate to call it a medicine cabinet. I like to say go into your supplement cabinet, right? And you could literally replace vitamin A, D, E, K, B6, B12, your folates. It's got amino acid complexes in there. It is absolutely the best thing that you can take, and it'll change your entire regimen. I've got multiple friends of mine who um, have done the Jesus fast, where they go 40 days and all they do is drink either water, or they do water in the Cardio Miracle, because this will not break a fast. So it's incredible what that will do for overall healing in your body. I tell a lot of people, if you're diagnosed with the disease, one of the first things you should do is stop eating, pray. and fast.
I mean, I kind of am your prime audience. I'm always trying to get sponsors where I'm like send me something, I'll try it, and I don't get responses. So yeah, no, it's I'm 1,000% on board to try it. Yeah, no, I mean that's another thing is, I always look at like whatever I take for heart or brain health as something that it's not it's not like a cup of coffee where you feel it. I always just go, I'll only be grateful for this decades from now. And like that's it. And it's easy to be like, oh, well, if, whatever, that's then. This is now. Well, in my life, the greatest pleasures and sources of fulfillment I've ever had are like long-term goals, weightlifting, getting into medical school, starting this podcast, saving money, having an emergency fund. And you're by the time you need it, it's you better have been doing it for 5, 10 years at that point. There's no, I need to start this. You're just like, oh, you know, man, I'm happy I started working out 20 years ago. Man, I'm happy I started, skimming off a little bit of my paycheck every month. So in that same sense, this is just me kind of just ranting personally. I would imagine that this is how it all, and the thing about these is you cannot have a control group in your life. You can with someone else, but personally, it's like you have savings or you don't. You've been exercising or you haven't. And when the time comes that, you're facing your consequences, older age or, a rainy day, family emergency, whatever, there's only, man, I'm happy I did this, or just a torrential downpour of regret. And so that, like, personally, like, even though, spending money on supplements. It's like, man, I could have got a new, new graphics card or something. I just go by the time I'm happy I did this, I'll probably be 60 or 70 and there'll be no redos. So again, I guess that's just me
You know, one
personally
of my
venting.
one of my favorite analogies, and you were kind of going towards it when you were talking about being glad that you started working out 20 years ago. There's two days that are beneficial to planting a tree for shade, 20 years ago and today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do the stuff today because your body's going to thank you. And I don't care what kind of response that I get, for saying this and anytime I say it. Most of the children that were born after 1981 are not going to live as long as their parents lived. And if you look at all of the processed foods that we're eating and the stuff that's happening to us, the constant war battle, and we don't even have to touch into getting into 5G and the importance of grounding on this singular podcast. Good air purifier, good water, one supplement that I've brought up to you guys is Cardio Miracle. We've got over 100 supplements. Most of them are all organic, non-GMO, found at airwaterhealing.com. I recommend everybody, if you live with a pet, if you have a cat or a dog living inside of your house, I highly recommend once a year you do a parasite cleanse. We have one of the best harmful organism cleanses on airwaterhealing.com. Go right on the website. You got a 30-day money back guarantee. Try it. Do a parasite cleanse. Try doing what me and my good friend here are doing. Try intermittent fasting. Try one meal a day. See what happens to your body.
Yeah.
See how you feel.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I've watched people say it's impossible. I have a very good friend of mine. His name is Scott Fallaney. He lost over 100 pounds and he did not eat for over 100 days. He went for 3 months
Jeez.
without eating and he prayed, he fasted, and he drank the water and the cardio miracle. He drank hydrogen water. I got him one of my hydrogen water bottles and he was drinking hydrogen water and drinking cardio miracle. And that dude went 100 days without eating and his body. Now he was a heavy set guy.
Sure.
When we hang up or when we end this podcast, I'll send you a before and after picture of Scott, and you will be like, that dude looks unrecognizable. It's
That's
doable.
awesome. That's awesome. Send me some of the stuff, man. Yeah, I'll text you my address. Send me some of this. I'll happily try it and I'll happily talk about it on the podcast.
And then
I'm
what I want to do with you before we hang up, I know
yeah.
I know you and I both have a hard stop here in
Yeah.
about 5 minutes. So let's have you create a code for me. I want to put that on airwaterhealing.com. So anybody that does follow your show, anybody that joins and listens to your podcast, or anytime that you meet somebody in your walk of life, because sharing is caring. If you want to let somebody know, hey, this is where you go to get your air, water, or your supplements. Let's create a coupon code where we can give a nice little discount and free shipping to anybody that uses your code. And all they have to do is go to airwaterhealing.com, and that code will be what?
TPC.
So T is in Tom,
Thomas Patrick
is in
Carrigan
Paul,
or Tommy's podcast.
Tommy's
TPC.
podcast. So we're going to create a coupon code TPC. If you guys go to airwaterhealing.com and use code TPC only at airwaterhealing.com, don't go to Amazon. Don't support the big box stores. Don't support big pharma. Let's go to airwaterhealing.com and use that code TPC. We're going to give you guys a big discount. We're going to give you guys free shipping. And as always, we will give you the full backing and the full support of praying over your order, praying for you as you become one of our customers. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can always email us. I'm Mike at airwaterhealing.com. I highly recommend if you guys want to learn all about what we do, you can follow us on Twitter. I refuse to call it what they now call it, but you can also follow us on Instagram or on YouTube or Air Water Healing. We're always giving out free information. And if you just need a prayer or if you just need somebody to ask a generalized question, I will get that answer. I will reach out to one of the doctors that's inside of our network. If you've got a particular question about water or air or any of our supplements, always feel free because the only thing that is more powerful than education and information is Jesus Christ.
Amen, brother. I agree. Dude, thank you so much for your time. I'll text you after this. And yeah, I'd love to have you back on, man. You're more welcome to come back on, whatever. Shoot the shit about whatever. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I do, guys. And please, you guys, God bless. And don't forget to share this podcast and, tag your friends so that way they can learn a little bit about what Tommy and I are doing to help wake up America and, more importantly, make America healthy again.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much for your time, man. Guys, the links are in the description. I'll text you. And yeah, look forward to the next one, man.
So, man, God bless.
God bless you as well. Guys, thank you so much.